You know, in my long existence, I've seen countless human stories unfold, but few are as perplexing, as beautifully contradictory as the tale of Gerry Lopez. This isn't just a biography of a surfer. Oh no. This is a story about two powerful, opposing forces, a dragon's tale of yin and yang, all wrapped up in one man. This right here, this is the whole puzzle in a nutshell. How can one person be a radical, aggressive competitor and at the same time a master of Zen-like calm? That's the riddle we're going to unravel today. We're going to see how these two sides, the radical and the Zen, didn't just coexist, but actually forged a legend. I am Zoran. And from my long vantage point, I can tell you, few human journeys have ever captivated me quite like his. It's a balance that was perfectly reflected in his relationship with the world's most famous and most dangerous waves. To really understand the man, you have to understand the storm and the calm. So let's start with the storm, the yang. This is the fierce, radical, almost ferocious energy that first put Gerry Lopez on the map. And his proving ground was one of the most dangerous places on the planet for a surfer, the Bonsai Pipeline. And his rise? Wow. It wasn't a slow burn. It was an explosion. A state champion at just 14 years old. By the time he's in his early 20s, he's not just riding waves, he's shaping the very boards needed to tame Pipeline. Then, boom, back-to-back wins at the Pipeline Masters in '72 and '73. This was a sudden, powerful arrival. And make no mistake, this wasn't just hype. It was fact. Everybody knew it. In the thundering, hollow tubes of Pipeline, Gerry Lopez was untouchable. He had this uncanny calm in the most terrifying part of the wave. His command was so absolute that people just started calling the contest the Gerry Lopez Pipeline Masters. He didn't just ride Pipeline, he owned it. And here's where that paradox, that riddle, gets so much deeper. Out there in the lineup, he was known for being aggressive, for taking the waves he wanted, a true competitor. But the second he was on that wave, his entire being was focused on one thing: total harmony with the wave itself. So you had this incredible contrast, conflict with his fellow surfers, but complete unity with the ocean. So how does a guy like that, this aggressive, wave-stealing king, become known for being Zen? Where did the other half, that calm yin energy, even come from? Well, the path to his famous tranquility was, let's just say, an unlikely one. It didn't start in some remote monastery. It started on a college campus for a very human reason. You'd think it started with some profound spiritual quest, right? Nope. Here it is, the humble and kind of funny beginning of it all. He admits it himself. He first signed up for a yoga class to meet girls. Simple as that. But from that very ordinary start, he stumbled onto something that would change his entire life, kicking off a lifelong journey he never saw coming. And this quote, "This is the key that unlocks everything." This is when it all clicked for him. He realized that surfing and yoga weren't two different worlds. They were the same path. The intense focus it took to ride a giant wave, that was a form of meditation. One practice fed the other, back and forth. I mean, think about it. This was his big light bulb moment. When you're dropping into a thundering pipeline barrel, you can't be thinking about your bills or what you're having for dinner. You make one tiny mistake and you are getting crushed. That razor's edge forces your mind into a state of absolute presence. He realized this flow state was the exact same thing monks spend hours on a cushion trying to find. Surfing was a shortcut to enlightenment. So you've got these two opposite threads, right? The radical and the Zen. He didn't just let them sit there. He actively wove them together. And the loom he used to do it, the place where he blended these forces, was his other great passion, the art of shaping surfboards. See, for Gerry Lopez, a surfboard was never just a piece of foam and fiberglass. It was a bridge, a physical extension of the writer's soul. It was a conduit, a tool designed specifically to create a seamless, perfect connection between a human being and the raw energy of the ocean. And this wasn't just some abstract idea. You can see this philosophy come to life in the very boards he built. Those famous down-railed edges, they weren't just for looks. They were engineered to let a surfer get deeper and tighter inside the curl, a physical solution for achieving that state of harmony. His lightning bolt brand became a worldwide symbol of exactly that idea. And his work with new foams and materials? It was all in service of creating the perfect tool for flow. So, in the end, when Gerry Lopez was in his shaping room, he wasn't just making products to sell. He was sharing his experience. He was essentially crafting keys that could help other surfers unlock that same incredible feeling of flow, that same Zen state that he'd mastered. He was bottling lightning.
You know, the mark of a true master is when their wisdom grows beyond the craft itself. The lessons Gerry Lopez learned from the water and the yoga mat, they blossomed into a philosophy for how to navigate this thing we call life. This, right here, is the final and most powerful part of his story.
And this is the wisdom he offers all of us. He says to pace yourself, to keep paddling, especially when it gets hard. He talks about applying these lessons to the waves of life, learning to spot the shallow reefs of guilt, or navigate the closeout sections of fear. It's a beautiful, powerful way to think about resilience. And his final piece of advice, when you're just not sure what to do, simple, profound. Do more yoga.
And that quest for flow, it never ended. It just changed elements. After he moved to Oregon, he took the exact same principles of harmony and design and applied them to riding on frozen water, snowboarding. He proved that his philosophy wasn't just about the ocean. It's a way of connecting with nature, with yourself, that works anywhere.
So I leave you with this trial. Gerry Lopez looked at the most powerful, chaotic force he could find, the ocean, and made it his greatest teacher. He learned how to find his flow there. The question for you is, where will you find yours?